get together, have some fun, and learn to play some better StarCraft in a great team-based environment. It's somewhat similar to SC2 Pro League in its setup. And this is Game 8 from Week 1 of the Chobo Team League between All Inspiration and Team Sloths. So, spawning in the lower left on Yansu, we have All Inspiration's theOperator. And spawning in the upper right, playing for Team Sloths with their typical little clan tag of Wattmate, we have Crux as our green Terran. So this is a Gold League match, and at this point Team Sloths is well already won in a commanding fashion. But as this is the Chobo Team League, all the games are played, even if the series is already over, because they can be played in any order whenever the players have time during the week. So, don't see anything all that interesting going on in the early game. No early aggression, looking like a typical gateway expand for the operator. No gas yet for the Terran though, so we may not see the early Reaper that is so typical of Terrans these days, and may see a bit of an earlier expansion and going only with Marines. Anyway, both players have nearly identical scout timing. SCV and a probe being sent across the map. Gas now coming down for our Terran player. The barracks is about to finish. And both players getting a full scout of what's going on in the opposing base. Council and second gas in the way for our Protoss player. Interesting to see this SCV hiding down here rather than coming back home. I wonder if he's planning on using it to proxy something. Have to keep an eye on that one. In the meantime, everything looking pretty normal over at the Protoss base. Chronoing out a stalker, warp gate on the way. And now the mothership core also being chronoed out as soon as the stalker is done. And for our Terran player, we've got a bunker and a CC on the low ground, a reactor on the barracks, and a factory headed down. Crux using a scan and seeing nothing out of the ordinary over here. That SCV that Crux was hiding down here must have taken some hits from a stalker and went down. Anyway, we see a robo facility on the way for the operator. And in the meantime, we see the starport already on the way for Crux, as well as the first eBay. And a Widow Mine coming out of that factory. Both players' naturals are now finished. Crux getting down a missile turret. Observer being pushed out of the robo first. And a second one, actually. Using the robo mostly for map vision at this point. And mostly just making probes and keeping his economy going. It's actually a fair bank Crux has right now. Higher than I might expect for a gold league player. There's almost no reason to have 500 in the bank. That's quite a bit. There's a 4 barracks on the way though, so what I suspect is he's just gonna go mass buyout. Factory now being picked up and used to scout as he just transitions into lots and lots of racks and making medevacs. In the meantime, that first medevac has been engaging in a little drop over here. The probes were pulled. A few Widow Mines got dropped in there, but didn't do much except for take a stalker out. All in all, not a really successful drop, but not a horribly unsuccessful one either. At the very least, a fair bit of mining time was lost. And now that the Observer is over there, the Widow Mines get taken out for free. Or they can get a second shot off. Factory almost all the way across the map. And our Terran player kind of taking the middle of the map with this large marine force. And very heavily into marines rather than into marauders, which I don't see that often against a Protoss player. As the Protoss player, like most Protoss players, will have many good options for AoE. The Colossus already on the way. I think that's his first one. Yeah, that will be his first Colossus. As well as Storm being about halfway done, so he doesn't have his AoE up yet, but he certainly will soon. Means it's about the perfect time for a Terran player to make a big drop, which is exactly what he's doing. Trying to take down some of these gateways that are being morphed in. And upon being caught by the army, pick up and run. Interesting to see that photon overcharge go off. It was a little late to do anything. More and more Marines and Marauders joining up. Looks like the Operator may in fact push into this. Don't know how he'd do against that Colossus though. No extended thermal lance yet, so we might be able to take it out. But he's probably waiting for a stim pack, which is just about to finish for our Terran player. Yep. Protoss player moving in just a little before stim is done. But not really engaging, just pushing back the Terran force a little bit. But stim is done and Crux is moving in. Or not. Now he goes. Stims in fact stims twice, does a little bit of overstims. He does get that Colossus for it, but loses almost all of his army. picks up the remnants of it with the medevacs, but there really wasn't that much left at that point. They'd get the Colossus, but it cost him a lot of Marines. Like he's going to be trying another drop over this side again. And that is in fact the first forge, which is one of the reasons these drops can be so effective. There's no cannons. Marines stim in and look like they're going to get this forge. Yeah, doesn't even get a cancel on it. And not a single Marine was lost. So Crux continuing to be effective. It's amusing to see got the observer hanging out here with the medevac. Both of them in no man's land. But the operator has a whole lot of gateways. Significantly better army. Both players are taking thirds at the same time, but looking pretty good for the operator at this point. Charge lot Archon with some Stalkers and Colossi to back up. It's pretty good. Another drop going down over here. This time the Stalkers are in position to take it out, though. They don't get the medevac, but a lot of Marines go down. Definitely interesting to see our Protoss player this far ahead in supply, though. Medevac comes in to try to drop again, and both the medevac and all the troops are taken down. Medevac went down with feedback mostly. In the meantime, this factory flying in to see what it can see, confirming the third base. And the operator is moving out across the map with a pretty big force. In the meantime, Crux had what looked to be ready to be a doom drop, but it looks like he's going to come home and try to defend. That is a lot of Vikings. Vikings nearly get this Colossus almost immediately. Vikings do take down the Colossus and land only to find a storm right on top of them. That was a nice storm. In the meantime, this looks to be a pretty good push for the operator. He is going to lose one of these Archons, but... and there goes another one. So this push has been pretty much cleaned up, but it did a lot of damage to Crux's army. However, it actually allowed Crux to catch up a little bit in supply, now only down 25. And he's actually going to use it to try to push into the third base. But more and more zealots being worked in, that's not really working out very well. Factory goes down. And at the same time, a fourth base raider. Because the Terran isn't even than mules. That is much better economy for the operator. That likely matters. Oh, this drop is up. It flies right by. That army was on a move instead of just move. They would have gotten a medevac for free. If they did not, it looks like troops in that medevac may get a base for free. But, while that's happening, he's also attacking the third. Stalkers do get warped in and deal with that, but Army at the third is also chased back with a ton of blink stalkers, and it's just gateway units, but that's a lot of gateway units. However, Crux does have a significant upgrade lead at 2-1 to 0-0. Another Archon fall. Okay. However, behind this, the operator's superior economy is really showing. And Crux actually has a massive bank at this point. He really needs to be just spending that and taking more and more Marines and Marauders. The operator now is ahead by 80 supply. And is moving out. Like he is going to try to attack into the third again. They get themselves in orbital. Doesn't even bother to lift, but it wouldn't have helped anyway. There were stalkers. A lot of stalkers. Those stalkers are fighting off lots and lots of Marines. And at that point, Crux GG's. So the operator is actually taking one for all inspiration, bringing our current score to 2-6.